Welcome back to Beyond Flow. My name is Tammy. This is Maria, and we are your hosts. We are so excited to be back. It's 2026. It's a new year. We have so many great ideas, so many new episodes coming. Guests are coming, formats adjusting and shifting. We're all growing together, and we hope the holidays were good for everybody. We've missed you, and we cannot wait to continue this journey together with you all. The topic today, the state of humanity. Where are things right now? We have been talking about this together a lot and decided we would start the new season with that. So we'll be back. So, the state of humanity. You know, we have had tons of conversations throughout the last few months, so much happening, and it's kind of been rough, humanity in general.
And personally.
Globally, nationally. We thought, let's just kind of feel out how we're feeling and see if we can help everybody a little bit with consciousness at this moment.
Yeah, first, I want to say that I'm happy to be back. Sometimes, we go through like so many thoughts and conversations, and we don't have maybe sometimes the setting to express those things. So I'm very, very happy to do this, not just for us, but, to share it. And I think you said something like, I think this, for me personally, the beginning of the year was very I don't want to say rough, but it was intense,
challenging
in every area, and I think that it also when you go through challenges, it awakens something, whether it's compassion, whether it's understanding of the parts of you that need healing still, and being able to grow through those challenges. So that's on a personal level.
Yeah.
And now we can see when we go through something that it's challenging on an individual aspect, then it's not just you, it's not just me. It's that everybody's feeling it in a very different way.
Yeah, and deep way.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But we're still here. So that means that we were able to survive some of those challenges and become hopefully better because of them. And hopefully that's what this episode today.
We clearly still have work to do. We're all still here.
Yeah, we're still here. So when we were talking about the first episode to talk about, the comeback to our conversations, one thing that we both agreed is that humanity, we are going through a lot.
Yeah.
And because of it's not something that it's particular to one country, I think globally we're all experiencing a lot. I like the fact that we call it the state of humanity, because it's not the state of one particular country. It's not just one particular, it's the state of humanity. So from your perspective, what is actually happening in humanity right now? Are we collapsing? Do you feel that we're evolving? Both? What do you think that, because it feels sometimes that we're going through it's like we go to the bottom and then we get a little breath and then we go back in and, so do you think that, what is your thought on that?
I think it's both. I think it's a collapsing and evolving simultaneously. And so in thinking about this subject, it's almost like I think we're releasing, shedding a skin because of an evolution. So it hurts, it's painful, it feels chaotic because we're exposing a lot in this process, and it's so important. The old structures, our old identities are ending. That is not easy. We're losing the same control that we thought was necessary, our validation from the outside, our separation. All of those structures are collapsing. Even if at some point it feels like they're gaining momentum, I think it's only a bit illusionary that there's a momentum there. I think we're working through getting past those old ways. Now we're tapping into feelings. We're tapping into being aware of each other. We're expanding conscious wise. And, I think nature shows it to us best with that little animal. Because when we think about what a caterpillar does is it dissolves. That is necessary for the butterfly to form. So what I feel right now is humanity is inside the cocoon stage right now.
So that's amazing. And maybe that's also, because I think, to be more direct, I think the state of humanity in my where I see it the most, it's in politics. Mm-hmm. It's almost like it's taboo to talk about politics, because if you think one way or the other, then you're defined by it. And that's not something that, for my own experience, I've lost very dear friends because of the way we might not think exactly the same in one aspect. But the essence of who I am and the essence of that person is the same, right? Like we've been friends for many, many years. Why are we going to maybe separate just because we think differently?
Right.
Which it also takes me, and it took me to understand that maybe politics aren't what they used to be. Maybe politics are right now. And that was the aha moment. That was for me, the awakening is that what you think when it comes to, and it's not right or wrong. That is your own, you have to follow your heart and you have to stand for what you truly believe. But I think that what we are witnessing is that there is an extension of your values. There is an extension of what you appreciate. There is an extension of what you stand for when it comes to politics. It's your moral compass. It's not just about, I think politics before were about, creating laws, creating, different agendas. Mm-hmm. But I think now it has become a very personal,
it's like gone beyond the boundaries.
Yeah, it's not about policy anymore.
And I think in the past, that concept of political opinions and parties and all of that was really ideally to be balanced, to have different inputs so that you don't go too extreme one way or another, shutting people out and separating. But there was always the checks and balances concept, and that seems to be gone right now. And I think that's the extreme, that now it's coming down to how do you actually feel, like you said, like your moral, your morality, your
or your humanity, your humanity.
Exactly, your vision of the other human being.
Correct.
Or any other human being. How do you see those roles? And right now, parties are bringing forth a very strong, divisive, negative energy toward each other.
And that's not only in this country, like I said.
No, it's not.
It affects humanity.
We all affect each other, period. Consciousness is consciousness and humanity is humanity. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely worldwide. And it's just maybe being experienced here a little differently at this moment than some people thought was going to be the case.
So do you think it's a political crisis, or do you think that it could be also a consciousness crisis?
Do I think it's I think it's first and foremost a crisis when we're talking about the hardship that we're going through, not hopefully where we're going towards, but in this moment, it is a bit of a consciousness crisis, because we have our essence is being, we're trying to figure out who we are and what we stand for. We're not unified in that, moving through life together. We are consciously, it's like people are living different realities at the same time. And I keep seeing this where we're witnessing the same thing, but seeing it through very different eyes. So the outcome or the outtake from anything that happens is completely different. Mm-hmm. So it's like our realities are different. So it is a crisis of consciousness. And I think our consciousness is what has brought forth the things that we see, whether they're the things we see on a positive side or the things we see on a not so positive side. Our consciousness is what has, those things are a manifestation of our consciousness, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right.
So politics is where politics are right now, it's a manifestation of where our consciousness is right now. Mm-hmm. So a lot of violence and, really strong, inappropriate treatment of humanity that's happening is and can only be fixed not by politics changing, but by our consciousness changing. So our consciousness drives it.
It's an inside job.
Our consciousness drives it. And I think, I was thinking about how when the problem happens, and this is a Karen Berg teaching, that when the problem appears, the solution appears at the same time. There is no waiting period, mm-hmm. right? So I was watching a post from Stephen Colbert with Michelle Obama. I'm sure a lot of people saw it.
With whom?
With Michelle Obama.
But from
Stephen Colbert.
Oh, Stephen Colbert, okay.
And it recently posted, and, they're talking about, how she always says when they go low,
you
go high, right?
Yeah.
And they were kind of being humorous about it in a sense. But he was saying, and they were talking about what that means. And I was thinking about it, and I think what going high means for me from a spiritual perspective is connecting to something higher, because that's where the solution is that Karen Berg mentions. The solution happens at the same time the problem occurs, so that we can reveal the light. The harder the problem, the
bigger
more
the
light
blessing
there is to be revealed.
Correct.
So when we can look at things and look at the state of the country or the world and say, oh my gosh, like this is so bad, and what are we going to do? Go into the place where you desire to connect to something higher, you desire to connect to higher truth, and draw down that answer. You have to draw it down from up high. You can't draw it down from operating at the same place of that thing which you are not in alignment
and
with.
I think that we can use what you just explained. We can use that even in our personal lives, because it's
Totally.
not just political,
Yeah,
but
right.
like when we go through a challenge, when we're being pushed to maybe react in a certain way, or maybe we are giving, I don't know, you're going through something that is challenging, right? Mm-hmm. I think that our knee-jerk reaction, it's always going to be to defend, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's our, maybe like the most low reaction
it's
human
reactive.
Is reactive.
Period.
And I think that what you're saying is you go high is that you don't have to react
right
only from ego.
Right.
Because the ego is the one that wants to defend. The ego is the one that wants to feel like a victim. And I'm not saying we're not all, that we haven't participated in that.
Oh, please.
Constantly, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the human part of us. But if we can understand it at some point, and we pray for it, and we pray not only to see the blessing that it's behind the challenge, but also even accept it as, like you say, it's a gift in that moment. And the bigger it is, the more we can then reveal more light. And hopefully we can continue elevating the frequency of this planet, which is when I think we will be able to live in more unity.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I totally agree. You know, and it does feel extreme. You know, it does feel extreme right now. And but I think the reason that it feels so extreme is because we have more awareness. There are more people stepping into higher consciousness. I mean, it's not like the whole world has lost its mind. It's that there's actually maybe more awareness happening, more consciousness happening, more elevated thought happening that is, it's sort of highlighting, or it's kind of like that difference is becoming more obvious. So that's why I think the extremeness of this is happening. Like, well, it feels like
right, that
overwhelming.
And it's also, we have now something happens and we get, you know, you look at your phone and you get information right away, and you can look at something that it's very, you know, I mean, what's happening in this country, it's no matter how you see it, there are things that are happening that they shouldn't be happening, or at least the way that it's happening.
Yeah.
But I think that because we have access to something so constant, it almost feel like you lose sensitivity to it, because you see it and it happens, and you see it over and over and over again. And so that's where we start operating from the mind and not from the heart. Yeah. Because you can't look at something and just disconnect the heart from it.
No.
So I think that also comes to me, that, you know, why it can look so extreme, you know, because of the tools that now we have available. You know, it's not like we have to wait until, you know, the news at 7 or 8 to see what's happening in the world. I mean, now we have become the news. Humanity. I mean, with our phone, we're showing what's happening here, what's happening in Texas, what's happening in Minnesota, what's happening in New York.
Yep.
So it's not something that we have to wait to get the information they want to give us. Is that now now we all have that, I guess, flexibility, or,
right? And
you know,
and I think that, you know, it is, you know, that ability to see things in the moment, and you know, have a camera and all these things. It's weird how that thing of two people experiencing the same thing and coming out of it with a very different perspective. It's so interesting, because you see it and it's very crystal clear, and somebody else sees it and their perspective is, what? How did you come out with that? You know? And obviously in really extreme moments, the manipulation and things like that is obvious. You know, there's you know, maybe agendas happening. But I think in our personal experience, you know, we get very confused, and, you know, and so I think that there's, you know, a question I wanted to ask you about these big disagreements that happen, you know, with people and their perspective. So for you, what does real dialogue look like in times of disagreement?
This is going to be a long answer, but it's going to be, it's what comes to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to start not maybe by exactly what you ask.
Okay.
But I want to answer this question this way. So there's a spiritual understanding, there's a spiritual teaching that it says everywhere we go, when we go to a place, we are meant to elevate the spark of that place. So if you go from Colombia and you go to Italy, the reason why you're going to Italy is because you are meant to elevate the spark of that place.
Okay.
Not only we're meant to elevate the spark, but we also can help to make that place holier.
Okay.
So it's not only that we're not just leaves around this planet, that there is a purpose,
Yeah.
an intention, mission,
Intention, yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna go back to your question. So if we have that understanding, we say, okay, so we know spiritually there's teachings, right?
Yeah.
That they say when you go to a place, you're meant to elevate the spark of that place. So if we come to the United States, in my case, well, we're supposed to elevate the spark. And then you have the other part that we're supposed to make it holier. But what is something that is holy? How do you create something that is holy? Something that is holy, it's something that it's meant to be sacred.
Mm.
And how do you, that it's meant to, you're doing something with the understanding that it's sacred.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you make it a place that is holy and then a place that it's holier, right?
Yeah.
And that's the part that it gets a little tricky. In order for something to be holy, there has to be unity.
Mm.
You can't have something holy because it's whole. It's complete. And through that, then that becomes, through unity, then it becomes holy. Then I'm going to go back to your question because it matters. And it really is so powerful to understand this. What is a dialogue? A dialogue is there's a receiver and someone that shares, someone that gives, and someone that receives.
Mm-hmm.
We're having a dialogue.
Yeah.
The country's not having a dialogue. That's why we're not in unity. Because we're only listening to respond to, because I feel attacked, I'm going to defend myself. That's not dialogue.
Right.
In Nichiren Buddhism, one of the first things they say that it's the most spiritual thing you can have, it's dialogue. In Kabbalah, they talk about dialogue.
Yeah.
How did the sages taught their students? Was through a dialogue.
It wasn't even written at one point.
It wasn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was given by the word.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about dialogue, it's something, and this is not, I know the question is about the state of the humanity right now in the world, but it's also how we can do it one-on-one.
Yeah.
So dialogue, it's something that is a giver and a receiver. God, it's a giver. So how do we connect to the energy of dialogue? But you have to be in constant dialogue with God, with the Creator. Once we understand what that is, then we can create unity. Because you're acting, you're behaving, you're speaking through that dialogue with God.
Wow.
Because if we are really connecting with that dialogue with God, we're not gonna, shoot someone in the street. We're not gonna, we're not gonna see the things that we are watching
and say the things that we're
and
saying.
say the things that we're saying, with our understanding that there is something that is not from the heart. And so that takes me to the book I So the other day I was with a friend of mine. We went to Barnes and Noble, and out of all the books, I watched the movie Conversations with God,
Oh, yeah.
but I opened the book in a part that I actually want to read it, because it's
Yeah.
very I guess it made me think of this, So he asked, I'm gonna paraphrase here.
Sure.
How do we get to you, God? Because Conversations with God, the book, I think his name is Neil Walsh or something
Yeah,
like that.
sounds right.
We'll put it under
Yeah.
the description. But he's having a dialogue with God.
Yeah.
He has to receive, and then through the book, he's sharing. But God is giving him all this information. So there's a question that he asked. I have to take off my glasses. So the question is, what is the true path to God? Is it through renunciation, as some yogis believe? And what of these things called suffering? What about suffering? Is suffering and service the path to God, as many say? Do we earn our way to heaven by being good, as so many religions teach? Or are we free to act as we wish? So the answer from God, this is again from Conversations with God, and this is the part that I think it's so beautiful. Every heart which earnestly asks, which means, that you have that truth, which is the path of God, is shown. Each is given a heartfelt truth. So, come to me along the path of your heart, not through a journey of your mind. You will never find me in your mind, only in your heart. And that was just a little.
Yeah, it's good though.
And I know that's why I told you it was going to be a long answer.
Yeah.
Because dialogue, it's what we are missing in this country, and in the world. As long as we don't understand that in that separation, in that we're so divisive, there's no unity. So without that unity, we can't, we can do it, but if we understand, okay, if I come here, if I, wherever we go, if we have the gift, or even not even the gift, that we have the ability to elevate the spark of that place.
Yeah.
So then we can understand that this world, this planet, belongs to all of us.
Yep. It becomes like more of a responsibility. To show up everywhere you go, bringing light.
Correct.
Elevating the spark. Leaving the place holier than when you left. Right?
Correct. And that can be even let's just not even talk about a country, but the spiritual understanding is when we go somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
But if we know that everywhere we go, not just a different country, but everywhere we go, we can, God willing, elevate the spark of that place, then the frequency starts going up, and we will feel it because we're energy.
Right. And we will also tap back into respecting the other, because I think we are missing, to have unity with one person, we are missing human dignity, and we're not respecting each other. And that is like a really important quality that you're taught from childhood in how to behave with others, is to be respectful, to honor, right?
Correct.
Even honoring your father and mother, if we're going to talk about a biblical reference. So that's not possible without respect. So I think that is, another way of looking at ourselves and saying, are we contributing to unity,
Yeah.
or are we contributing to dysfunction?
So the dialogue, it has to, the dialogue is what creates unity. And if we can remember that, even if we're having an argument with our spouse, our children, our coworker, that we don't have to argue, we don't have to fight, we don't have to be reactive in order to create an understanding.
Yeah.
That is only through dialogue.
And that dialogue is heart to heart.
It's heart to heart.
It isn't mind to mind.
It's not this.
And when you feel that, everything has a different perspective.
Correct.
Right? It's a different operational system working from the heart. Wow, that was really...
I mean, hopefully that the answer wasn't too...
No, it's...
You know,
listen, I think we in this entire, podcast concept is to try to bring some light, to try to bring, what can we do? Thoughts and ideas, tangible things. And it all starts with consciousness.
Yes. So what is the role of conscious individuals in shaping collective reality?
Yeah. So
It's a good one.
I think, as we mentioned, there are so many more people awakening and becoming aware, and really there's a lot of greatness in the world. It's not all, unevolved, right? So those people with consciousness have a responsibility, and I think we can shape and shift things by doing all the things we talked about. Having open dialogue, listening to each other, sending light to somebody who it's not easy for you to do that to, putting others before you, not operating from fear, trying to, operate from and show to others how to do that, not just in your silence and your meditation, but in how you act at work and how you act in everything that you do. So I think we, have a responsibility to be almost a reflection of God's light. If you are spending time being connected and conscious, show that to others. Be that to others. And I have a quote from Yogananda.
Okay.
From the book How to Love and Be Loved. And this was also a post that I saw, and it touched me, and I thought it was really relevant. This is it from Yogananda.
Okay.
Practice loving those who do not love you. Feel for those who do not feel for you. Be generous to those who are generous only to themselves. If you heap hatred on your enemy, neither he nor you are able to perceive the inherent beauty of your soul. You need not fawn on your enemy. Silently love him. Silently be of service to him whenever he is in need. For love is real only when it is useful, expresses itself through action. Thus, you will rend the veils of hate and narrow-mindedness that hide God from your sight.
Well,
So,
I think that is.
We have to remind ourselves that love is the answer.
Love is the answer.
And sometimes we have to figure out how to show that, not just think it. Take actions for that,
Even if the action is just in silence, send energy to that person.
Send light, surround your enemies in God, and see if things can't shift, because in the end, we want to live in a better world. We want our children to have a better world.
Absolutely.
Not worry for what's coming, but build something that's worth living in. So we thought that it might be kind of something that maybe we could all join in on and doing this. So this is what we're going to ask of you if you want to. So every morning when you first open your eyes, And a lot of people have their own practices, so this might just add to.
Right.
But if you're not, and your first thing when you open your eyes goes right to what do I have to do today or what am I worried about, let's first think of something or a number of things, but whatever first comes to your mind to be grateful for. So a gratitude moment, and we're all going to do this when we open our eyes. So collectively, it's as though we're all going to be connected at that moment of rising each day and setting a tone for the day. And I know that we can be in a place of shifting energies. So first, whatever comes to your mind for you personally that you are grateful for. Second, wish for someone else who needs support. So whatever you think of someone that you've either heard about or someone in your circle or someone that you met at work yesterday or whatever it is that you know needs a little support. Send them a wish for that support, that thing that they need to manifest.
Amazing.
And then finally, a prayer that we can all recite every day. So this is it. It's sort of an affirmation prayer. And we will put this in the notes. I am grounded in compassion. I release the need to be right. I choose to see the human before the belief. May mercy move through me and into the world. May peace begin in me. We will put that in the notes. And let's do all of those together every day and see if we don't see a shift happen.
Absolutely. And I know that we will, because, we can definitely create the change that we want to see. And I know that it is possible.
It is.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you all. Looking forward to continuing this with you.